Nice.
And we're live. So hello again, this is another Tuesday night miniature modelling mayhem painting chat. We're live streaming these in order to let people know what we do when we're doing our normal painting chats, which aren't normally live streamed. It's just a bunch of us sitting about painting, chatting about the hobby, toy soldiers and anything else that takes our fascination, that was the wrong word, our fancy is the word. So I'm joined here tonight by Dennis, Gary and Dave, and we're all working on, I think it would be fair to say that it's quite a diverse group of projects at the moment.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So I'll pick on Dave first and he can tell us what he's doing.
So I've got a demonstration game on at the weekend at the Partisan show. So as ever, having a game on is always a good spur to finish a few things. So I'm busy doing some sections of a railway track for the Sudan military railway that's going to make an appearance on Saturday.
And that's a 28mm railway.
Yeah, 28. Yeah, it's 28mm railway. Yeah, it's 2 foot lengths of track using ON 30 gauge railway track, which is an American O gauge narrow, but aesthetically looks a damn sight better than double O. The sleepers are bigger, the gap's bigger. Just looks good to the eye. So I've completed the train last week. That'll be there completely black in rooms. So we shall see what happens when the artists meet it.
Yeah, I think I used some of your pictures of your finished train to front last week's video as well, Dave.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the stuff, I know you're much better at doing it than I am, but we post finished articles to the Facebook group normally.
Yeah.
Sounds like I need to get an account.
Well, we have the Google Plus group as well. We just always forget that it's there.
And that's why I need to get one. Because I'm always on there going, nothing's going on.
Gary, what you up to?
I'm doing the usual thing. I'm doing some Chaos Beastmen, a Chaos Cleric Necromancer Illusionist, some W2K stuff. No, I'm not. I'm doing Napoleonics, some Austrians, some Camp Followers, some Saxons for my Dark Ages stuff. Just finished off my Limber for my Zvezda French foot artillery as well. So I finally finished that. Just got to finish doing a bit of basing on it. And then that will be the end of my Zvezda project, which has been a labour of, I would say love, but it's been a bit of a tedious one, that one. So yeah, that's what I'm up to.
How do you keep yourself going, Gary, when you're struggling like that? What motivates you to continue?
Usually a couple of bottles of wine tends to do the trick.
That would be motivating.
Well, not necessarily motivated, but
just don't look too closely at how well painted the tracings are on the Limber.
Yeah.
I take it.
Well, that's when I'm not drinking the wine. No, you have to do that when you've got a steady hand.
I thought you only had a steady hand when you were drinking.
Well, that's what my doctor says.
Well, Dennis, what are you up to?
I was finishing off a bunch of different things. So recently, we've been playing a lot of Saga. So I just finished painting my 4 points on Saturday, putting my the grass and the basing on those guys. I finally finished those Bodners I've been working on since February. I've also been re-highlighting my Napoleonics, my other Napoleonics, so my Dragoons and so on. And when I first put together my Napoleonics, I had the Renendra, just rectangular plastic bases, and lacking any other bases for my command, I just glue them all on there. So I've been doing like what everybody else does, and I've been rebasing my commands on circular bases that I picked up at Cold Wars. So I've got a bunch of different projects on the go. I still have my saga. I still want to do 2 more points to finish off. So that's 12 Levy Bowman and 4 more Hearthguard. And for the immediate future, with the Bodners done, I want to finish the Brigade of Cavalry. So I've got their commander done on the round base, but I still got to highlight the limbers for my guns. So that'll take me into next week.
A proper magpie of gaming there.
And you know what? And I normally don't do that. I try to focus on one project, but yeah, I have the attention span. I'll be like, ooh, shiny. So our group will start playing a new game, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, it wasn't a judgment comment, because I think a lot of the guys do similar things to that. They jump between projects, or they have multiple things on the go. But personally, I really struggle unless I'm finishing things.
Ooh, Arsenal's struggling against Sunderland. Just FYI.
What?
They can't score. They cannot score.
I always flit around between a couple of projects. I've always got a couple of things going on. One main one. So.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose now I've got one main one and a couple of side ones, but I do struggle if I'm not finishing things. I think it's the fact that I'm finishing something that spurs me on to keep painting the next thing.
Yeah.
So I'm back to doing some British 15mm World War II battlefield miniatures, battlefront miniatures even. And these are just to expand my infantry company, hopefully out to 2. So I'm just doing them in batches of 5 sticks at the moment. And once I get these guys done, I'll move on to the next batch. And
yeah.
On you go, Dave.
You know you have a hobby when you have to buy 5 litres of PVA.
Yeah.
When you got to buy a gallon.
Well, it is cheaper to buy it that way, though.
Absolutely.
I was just going to say that I'm really, really enjoying painting things that don't involve me using every shade of grey, most of my shades of brown, and everything else that the ACW Cavalry took. So
That's
far,
what
I think
Napoleonics. It's colors that I had to buy all of those bright colors. I was like, bright red, bright green. I had to buy like 3 of those. There are 5 different shades of blue.
So far, I've used 4 different shades of colour on these, and I'm really enjoying the fact that I've only had to use 4 or maybe 5, but simpler times. Definitely.
You know what else I've been doing? Sorry to interrupt. You say that, I'm looking at my my paint station. So my buddy Scott's his wife does woodworking, so she was making some really handy Vallejo paint. Like paint stands, and so I bought 3 of them, knowing I'm like, oh, I'll never use all 3. Well, buying all these different paints for Napoleonics, for Saga, for my Flames of War, for Team Yankee, and all that, I actually filled it up. So I had a couple doubles of stuff. So I had like an old natty khaki gray, and then I had bought at some point another one. So the other day I was actually pouring the old paints into the new ones and just trying to consolidate. So I end up saving, was it green ochre, Russian green, I combined field gray, because of course you can't ever have too much field gray, and all that. So I did kind of reorganize my hobby center a little bit. And it led to this question: do you guys keep your used or your old bottles for like mixing colors, or no? Like if you're done with a paint pot, do you keep it, rinse it out, and use it for something else?
Nope.
No, I just binned some recently, to be honest.
Really?
No, but there's maybe saving one or two. You know, is not a bad thing if you're mixing in bulk.
Because now I'm sitting on 6 empty bottles that I'm thinking to myself, well, if I ever do make a mix, I mean, yes, I could put on a wet pallet, but I could also make the mix and just shove it. Like I'm thinking actually for when I do my English Civil War Covenanters, when I make the Hodden Gray mix out of, what are the colors I'm using? I found a really weird gray pink. It's called Heavy Warm Gray. Vallejo Game Color, extra opaque. So it's called Heavy Warm Gray. I bought 2 of those, and will eventually make my Hodden Gray mix.
That sounds like a really interesting color.
It is. Google it. Like I saw it and I was like, I'll probably never see this again. I think I bought it at Cold War. Yeah, I think it was at Cold Wars or maybe in Fallen. And I'm like, you know, I knew I'd need it, so I was like, I just bought 2. We got a lot of Covenanters to paint.
Yeah. Like I said, I recently just threw a whole load of dead bottles in the bin, but thinking about it, the smart thing to do would have been to put them aside, and next time I'm at a paint store to take the bottles with me so as I can remember which bloody ones I needed to replace.
Ah, yes. Better, yeah.
Ah, yes.
Aside from anything else.
And I'm weird too, where I've got some old Reaper paints, and I didn't buy the Vallejo colors, the matching ones, until I was done with them. But now I'm thinking, like, I'm not really OCD or anything, but it's bothering me that I have 2 different manufacturers.
I've mainly got Vallejo, but I do have some MIG, some AK.
Are they good?
Interactive. The AK ones are really, really thin, like almost as if they're designed for an airbrush. You definitely need multiple coats.
I've got scale 75s, which are quite thick and really heavy pigmented. Finely pigmented, they're a good paint. And I have Andrea colour sets as well, the red. So they give you a set of 6 coloured 6 paints, shades. So blues, greens, reds. Since I use those as well.
I think Gary's got some paints that are older than me.
I have, indeed.
I'm pretty sure I've probably got some Humbolds up in the loft that are a little older than you.
They still have the pricing stickers that says 25p.
No, shillings.
Nice. You were going where I was going. Yeah.
Pre-decimal.
Guineas.
Yeah.
Although I've got somewhere, I think I've actually even got an unopened pot of the Polish Crimson, the original enamel one, from before the factory was burnt down. And they couldn't really get the shade right afterwards.
That was the Humbrol factory in Hull, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Really, the whole factory went down.
Yeah. The old
I
authentic.
think some young girl was killed in that as well.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm sure if it was an enamel paint factory, it must have been one hell of a fire.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I usually expect that from the Chinese.
A lot of VLCs, yes. Yeah. Organic compounds. So I've got some of those, and I've still got some bits of old poster paints and stuff that you pick up, things like that just get used in art shop. Kids paints, we never know.
No, I got rid of all of my stuff for that.
So it's done.
Yeah.
You've just done that. I seem to have four pots of Iraqi sand on the go at the moment, so I think they all need making into one and it popping up.
Yeah. Well, I found.
I'll buy a pot of Iraqi sand.
I found I was super low on my Russian green from doing my Team Yankee Soviets, and for the life of me, I couldn't find a replacement pot, and because I'd go to the hobby store and be looking for Russian green. And then I looked it up, and they discontinued calling it Flames of War Russian green, but Vallejo called it something else. So I'm like, okay, so I just found the number, mashed it up, and bought it, and they're different colors. So I can't get the old Russian green. So this is one of the cases where instead of pouring, I actually just mixed the two paints together, because now the color for Russian green is, so it's Vallejo 70894, and it's Cam Olive Green. And it certainly isn't Russian green anymore, which sucks.
Is that like just Russian green rather than Russian uniform green?
The word Russian isn't even on the paint pot.
Right.
It's called Camo Olive Green.
Yeah, because the one I use for my tanks and stuff is Russian 70924, Russian uniform green.
Oh, so you have that.
The other one I've got is 975 military green.
There's too many greens, that's the thing. I mean, it's good that there's too many, but in a way.
Well, I find that I can't really justify using Vallejo paint for doing bases, because I think it's a bit of a waste, really, when you're just going to paint something that you're going to cover in flock. Most of it anyway. So I just use craft paints for that.
Yeah.
Because you can buy them in big tubs of, well, big tubes of, how much is in here?
A litre or two? Half a litre?
No, it's not a litre, no, unfortunately.
At the same time, Gary, we've talked about how you'll spend time painting the saddle of a horse only to glue the man onto the saddle. So,
that's right.
You know how you get around that? Always assemble the model first. That way I'm not painting something and then gluing on top of it where possible.
That's partly one of my techniques in terms of doing big units, though, is you'll concentrate on painting all the fronts and all the backs and all the rest of it. Actually, if you get it to a certain point where you're happy with it, before you go over the top on other highlighting, I tend to base it. And that way I'll do the bits on the front and the bits on the back of the stand.
Yeah.
You know, because if it's 6 figures to a stand or something, you know, you won't see all that detail, even if you paint the damn thing, because it's jammed up with another figure behind it.
I have that same feeling, except for usually when I go, especially for Flames of War, I usually paint them to try and get best painted, to at least be up there. And so at that point, when people, you know, they're like, they'd get really close, and then I'd feel bad if stuff wasn't painted. So yeah, I'll start with the fronts and backs, especially if it Flames of War infantry. And then it's like, it'll bother me that they're not done, so I'll just go and do them, like all the webbing and everything in 15 mil. It's pain, but
for me, it tends to be about what the unit looks like once it's on the table, you know, and at a reasonable distance. So. Yeah,
and you know what? That's exactly the strategy I mentioned earlier. I'm re-highlighting my Napoleonics. Well, because when we started playing Black Powder, my buddy Scott, he had already a division of British done, because he had a couple of weeks off from work or something like that. So he was just able to chain paint a division basically in almost a month. I think he had a couple of units done. So for me, just to get playing, I was turboing them out. But exactly like you said, I just put my blocked colors and put a wash on it, and it's good enough. You know, and then now that I have time, now that I've got my division also painted, now I'm going back over and just doing even just the white straps on all the guys, the red epaulettes, all that. It just makes such a huge difference. So, yeah.
I suffer from always trying to do the best I can, even on units that don't necessarily need me to do the best that I can.
Well, I have to say, you probably have the nicest Flames of War trucks I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Models that should never see the table, really.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse camouflage, particularly good.
I only did a couple of them because I got a bit sick of it.
Yeah.
But I think it is something that you have to learn to know when to draw the line, especially if you were painting a mass army, you know, like your Madis or something. Dave, when you've got 1,000 of them, it becomes a bit silly.
You're never going to get them done if you want to put 27 different layers on it.
Yeah.
And that's fine if you've got a decade to work on them.
Yeah. Indeed.
That kind of ties me into my comment I made earlier about I'm finding it tough just now because I made the fatal mistake of both starting a new computer game and starting a new book, both of which are the things that would like to be doing at any given time. But the longer I spend doing either of those things, less so the book, but the computer game especially, I start feeling like I could have used the time more constructively. Like I could have been painting something. Do you guys suffer from that? Or
Yes. I've made myself retire from MMOs, from like the Warcrafts or EVE Onlines or those things, because those definitely suck up my time. So now my quote-unquote longest game that I play regularly is probably DCS World, just because I like flying and it's this nice sim. So in there, I've done it. There was a morning once I woke up about 5 o'clock in the morning. I normally wake up at 6. And I was like, okay, I'm going to base coat my 4 Moss Troopers from my saga. And I got those, just to get the black primer on there. And then I was like, I've got a half an hour. I'll do a half an hour mission in DCS World. Did that. And then was like, I'll hop into World of Warships and play 1 game. I did all that, then got ready for work, and it was still to work on time. So I was like, to me, I was like, yes. In that 90 minutes, I got three different things done. So to me, that was an efficient use of my time. Whereas, James was saying, a computer game, depending on the style of game, if it demands hours, like an EVE Online, where, just you logging in, it might be an hour, or another game I play is Elite Dangerous. Well, in that game, if I log in, I might have to then travel in game, and that might take a half an hour before I actually do anything. So for me, that'll detract from my painting. Whereas a lobby shooter like World of Warships, I can get in a game in 10 minutes, and I can all right, now I played that, now I can start painting.
Yeah, it's just whether that 10 minutes of that 1 game is enough. But
I find in the middle of painting as well, if I'm just grinding, especially a unit of 24 Napoleonics, if I'm just grinding those out, I'll be like, all right, I'm finished all the tan on all these guys. I'll take a break, play 2 rounds of World of Warships, win or lose, and then get back at it. So the wife is also a big source of detraction for my painting. But that's everybody's got.
I don't do any computer gaming at all, actually. I stare at a computer all day long at work, so staring at one the rest of the time doesn't work for me. So I guess I'm looking like that. I don't generally flip maybe. My hobby destroyer is partly the day job as soon as I have to go traveling. Yeah, so.
Do you, speaking of traveling, do you ever bring a paint kit for traveling? Because I do for work.
Not when I'm at work, because most of the time I'll be out with colleagues on an evening, So it's a bit antisocial to otherwise just sit in my room and paint. I think. But that little bit for me is holiday planning.
Oh yeah.
I like travel, so and I've got a lot of battlefield travel books as well. So I can get lost for a week planning something that will never ever happen, but just enjoy planning it.
Well, you guys are lucky. You got a lot of historical stuff at hand in England and in Europe.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I was going to say I've got a very small painting kit and an old hard GW Games Workshop carrying case. So when I got to go to work-related stuff, and a lot of times and you'll see this too, like anywhere near like, you know, the airport hotels or something like that. You'll see a bunch of guys who are clearly on some sort of conference. They got nothing to do, so they're just sitting there at the bar watching a hockey game. Well, in Canada, it's a hockey game, doing nothing. And for me, I'll bring something and be pumped to when I'm, you know, done socializing with my work people. It's like, all right, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And they're like, what? You're not gonna, you know, sit here and have more drinks? I'm like, nope. And I'm like, I'll get in the hotel room, and there's nothing else to do in the hotel room except for watch TV, right? So I'm like, I'll just grab all my paints from a little painting kit that I've bought, and then just get a ton of stuff done.
Yeah, I did last year actually on holiday when we actually took a painting kit with me.
Yeah,
a full station, a little portable battery-powered daylight bulb, LED daylight things, and what have you, know. So. Yeah, so I certainly did that on holiday.
I took some tanks on honeymoon, as bad as that sounds, but I sought,
Lord. Lord.
I sought permission and was given permission because she was going to be spending some time reading. So,
okay, well, so long as you got the okay from her man.
Yeah, well, I definitely wouldn't have taken anything if I hadn't checked out first.
Yeah.
So in the evenings when we were sitting quietly, I would be assembling plastic Cromwells. I think I did 18 of them while I was away. There's a reason I've not painted them yet. No, I just wondered.
I don't know what Matt said, because if I'm on a need to be productive, I tend to paint on a morning before I start. Okay, I'll get up.
I get up so early in the morning to go to work, just because I've got to call people in your time zone for my work. So, but it's good. It lets me come home early enough to be part of these at 4 p.m. Eastern for me. So that's good.
Yeah. Try and get a couple of colours on or something on a morning if I'm doing intelligence or something. So I'll paint the boots or I'll paint the musket or something.
I would roll out of bed and straight into my office chair if I had the opportunity to in the morning. I'm not a morning person at all. Never have been.
No, I'm not brilliant at it myself. You get used to it over the years.
I did just wonder if there was anything that other people found were things that they had to stay clear of while they were painting. You know, things that they knew would impact on
the internet for me. You know what? I can't just blanket say the internet. These painting chats are the good internet for me. Also, YouTube videos of stuff like, but usually, you know, I'd be like, oh, let's look for an episode of something to watch, and I'll just get sucked in and, you know, be on YouTube for an hour and then go, damn it, that could have been an hour of painting that I didn't get done. So internet, yes, and it's a curse and a blessing.
Certainly, the painting chats are good for me because just chatting to people while you're painting just seems to get so much more done. You don't realise that you're being as productive sometimes. But YouTube and stuff's just not something I normally do. But it is entirely possible for me to end up sitting looking at the computer for hours at a time.
Yeah. I do the odd bits. I mean, I tend to have a. Sometimes once I'm finished and I'm packing up and go to bed, I tend to have 10 minutes, quarter of an hour just to whiz around the various forums I'm on and things like that. You know. So, YouTube tends to be I'm looking for something.
Yeah, I'm the same. It is a fantastic resource for the community, but I know that Stig spends a lot of time just watching other people's videos and stuff, but I struggle to unless it's something I'm actually wanting to know how to do or something, then I kind of struggle.
It's good for inspiration, though.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, sure.
Like if I'm sitting there not in the mood to paint, and then I'll log in and see, like, let's say Von Ketteringham has finished something, and I'm just like, oh, that looks so good. All right, you know what? I've got a half an hour. Let's just get some work done.
Yeah.
Well, I was very impressed with those. I was very impressed with those French Indian War fences that Paul OG put up in the last couple of days.
Yeah,
they're very nice. Did like those. Nice idea. I think he was just using twigs.
What was that, Dave? Sorry.
He's not a bad painter for a sailor.
Yeah. Well, the man spent some time in Scotland, so he's obviously got good taste.
Indeed. Yeah. So he was on a few of the painting chats on the Analog Hobby one as well. So
yeah,
it's just time zone because he's in Sydney.
Right.
Yeah, it's time zone.
On the time zones.
I know I've managed to catch up with Jack Sarge a couple of times in the last few weeks, but he's got internet issues, I think. So. Still churning out the lovely painted miniatures, those David was showing us last night when he was on.
Yeah. All right, both, aren't they?
I'm just glad my Brits don't have camouflage.
The other thing that can burn a week for me is the dangers of a boxed set. Oh no, here we go. 5 series of Boardwalk Empire again. Oh, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to find this. You're going to find this pretty sad. The wife asked me this morning what I'd like for my birthday this year, which is in 8 days' time. And I said, I want
no hint or pressures, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is in fact 8 days' time. And I said I want the complete box set of the Lovejoy 6 series.
So is this one of those? Is this another one of those birthdays where you get a telegram from the Queen, or?
No, you only get the one. You only get the one.
I thought it was every 100 years you got one.
No, just the one.
No, every year after 100 you get one.
I was doing these bloody maths exams over the weekend as well, and these kids were given a list of every English monarch from Henry VII up to Charles I.
Do have to rank them by... Yeah, so how's that work for math?
Well, because they had the start of the reign and the end of the reign. So, you know, Charles I dying in 1549. 1649, sorry.
Oh, God.
And I had to work out how long each one of them reigned. And one bright spark had put, this one ruled for 104 years, this one ruled for 120 years, this one ruled for, 98 years, which was just ridiculous.
Sounds plausible to me.
Maybe if there's Space Marines.
Maybe. But
see, the thing with modern maths exams, so long as they shown working, then that might actually pass.
Oh, they'd worked it out as well. Yeah, they showed all the workings.
It worked it out. What?
Yeah, they'd worked it out to still get it wrong.
In the Total War video game series, that's about the only time where you got to worry about the reigns. If you guys have ever played that, you've got your king, and then your king will die to something stupid, and then his heir, who is your commander, will then be useless sometimes. You're like, great, my empire can't do anything for the next 30 years until I get another suitable heir.
Well, the other thing that they all got wrong, apart from 3 of them, was how many of these kings were at any time ruling in the 16th century. And there's 5
because of the 1500s.
Yeah. So, say you started your reign in 1485, and ended in 1503, like Queen Elizabeth I, that counts that she was ruling in the 16th century.
Yeah.
Only 3 of them got this right, I think. The rest were coming up with 1 of them, 3 of them, 2 of them. Just look at the paper. You can see the number 15 is in there.
Yeah, but the question is about the 16th, isn't it? So.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's 1500s.
And my country's not even that old.
Mhm.
I think Quebec City is the only city that's that old, 1600 something.
All right. All right, I think I'm going to do blonde hair on this guy.
I've always said Canada was lucky.
It's about the same time that Scotland stopped being a country.
Yep. And we all went to Canada.
You sure did. That's
Yeah.
where my ancestors came. And the other half come from France, from Normandy.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, obviously, my current demons that I'll have to deal with are those, finding time to read the book that I want to read and deciding whether it's worth spending time on the game I want to play.
Do you have like an hour at work for lunch sort of thing, or are you?
Yeah, I've been taking the book to read at work, but it's one of those when I get reading a book, I could quite happily sit and read it until it was finished, even if it was, a 24-hour job. I could just sit and read.
I used to paint at work way back. I'd bring my painting kit and just do it at lunch, but I was like, nah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you do an hour and 5 minutes, and then it just creeps up and up and up, and then you just spend the whole afternoon painting while nobody's
No, I
watching.
was sick and tired of explaining to people what the hell I was doing. What's that? Nothing.
It is hard to explain when you're painting Demonettes of Slanesh or something at you.
Oh no, this is 40. Yeah, it'd be like, we need to. You have an appointment with HR. If I was painting like some chaos stuff.
What are you painting? Skulls.
More skulls from the skull throne.
Yep. I mean, I know through doing these hangouts and stuff that there's some people over the summer they just disappear because over the summer they're doing their outdoor pursuits. Yeah,
we have a lot of that. Being a brutal winter country for the summer, a lot of our guys would be like, nope, summertime, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, which is
fine. I mean, they own their fishing boats and all this, and that's what they want to do.
Yeah,
I'm not an outdoors person at all, so I'm like, nope. If it's raining, wicked. More time to paint.
Yeah, so that could quite happily while away the hours doing one of the above without really thinking about it. But at least when I'm doing this, I'm actually getting something done and finishing something. And whereas 4 hours spent on a computer game, you finish the game and think, well, what was the point of that?
Yeah, I just think it's been really helpful with some of us being local to each other and being able to get some big games in.
Yeah,
it's just really helpful when you're putting a game on with your stuff. It really focus you when I need to do this next.
Definitely. I don't think I would have got anywhere near as much terrain stuff done if it hadn't been known that I had a game to.
Yeah,
exactly.
I like tournaments for that too. A lot of people like hardcore the tournaments. I'm like, no, I like the tournament scene purely because it's a deadline. It's a hard and fast deadline. Yeah. So it's like it gets me moving.
Well, they do have summers in Scotland, James, don't they?
I think it was a Wednesday last year.
It was a Wednesday, yeah, and you can always tell because the rain's slightly warmer.
Yeah, and it falls slightly less horizontally.
Yeah.
And more vertically for a couple of hours. Yeah.
And the midges breed a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we know that it is truly summertime, is when the Midgie eclipse happens.
Oh yeah. Go around Loch Lomond, mate. You're more or less breathing them in.
Yeah.
When I was in the Arctic, yeah, I thought I'd seen lots of mosquitoes, and I was mistaken.
Yep. It's the one area that having red hair is a bit of an advantage. For some reason, they don't seem to go for redheads as much as they go for everybody else.
Nice.
Yes.
But partly that's just us telling everybody that just to annoy them.
Yeah.
It's also to do with, apparently, redheads have a higher pain threshold, so we probably just don't notice that they were being bitten.
Don't react as much, yeah.
So all those years I felt guilty about kicking the ginger kid at school just because he was ginger. I can feel all right now.
Yeah,
Because he just had a higher pain threshold, so he probably didn't feel it.
probably not.
Yeah.
And he's set the Midgie demons on you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Cursed.
And summon them. I remember going camping once somewhere on the East Coast, and the midges were so thick that you could actually see, like, if you put your hand out, your hand almost went black with just the sheer number of flies on it. It was pretty minging. Do you know that way you go camping and everybody's always trying to avoid the smoke from the fire? Everybody was trying to sit in the smoke from the fire.
Yeah.
So I'm finding a lot of these brands I had previously painted, Matt, that I've Dennis, sorry, that I've done wrong.
Oh, I do that all the time too.
I had too much brown on them. Haven't looked at a picture.
Yeah.
And the usual, you get so far around them, move on to the next colour, and then find what bit you've missed. Helps with these guys that their sculpts are really like. Some of the older ones, they're really nice. Nicely posed figures.
Nice. It's always good.
Back when I was painting the German pioneers and stuff, they were from the period that they had a different sculptor doing the Germans, and they were just appalling.
Oh, yeah.
That was another couple of chats where there was a lot of swearing going on from my end.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep that down.
Yeah. One of the figures in that pack, all he had was a pole, just like a 6-foot pole.
I have that. Yes. I was like, you know what? You're relegated to being a pioneer. I was like, you're a pioneer because there's nothing else useful that you're doing.
No,
I mean, it's not the Olympics. He's not doing the 10-meter pole vault. You know what I mean? It's like,
it's like, what is the point of this guy?
No, I have that exact model. In fact, I have 2 of them. So I was like, I have in a bits box somewhere. It's like, one day if I ever do pioneers, those will be those guys. I've got flamethrower dudes, just guys that look like they're not soldiers. I was like, yeah, you're pioneers now.
Yeah, I just never quite understood what the point of that model was. I know that they did the whole putting explosive charges on the end of sticks to attack tanks with and stuff, or bunkers and things, but he didn't have an explosive charge. All he had was a pole.
Or it was mis-sculpted.
Maybe he was measuring the depth of the snow.
No, Germans don't do that.
Yeah?
To measure the depth of snow, if you're in Germany, you need your pinky finger,
Uh-huh.
pretty much, unless you're up in the Eagle's Nest, but that's it.
Or on Eastern Front.
Then they just send an Italian
Eastern Front, yeah. But in the Eastern Front, they had no idea it was going to be that bad.
Yeah, and he was also not an Eastern Front. He wasn't a winter miniature. He was in the summer uniform.
I think he was early war, actually.
Mine was the late war one, but I think they probably just used the same figures for
the same sculpt, yeah.
all of them. Changed the boots on them. Just that way, sometimes you open a pack of figures and you look at one of them and think, like, what? Why?
Yeah.
I could possibly use one of these figures on a diorama somewhere, but you've given me 5 of them.
It was the old FX, the plastics sets, 170 and stuff, and there used to be some cracking ones in there.
Yeah, I'm just looking them up now.
The Hawkey Corky Battalion, it was a British Napoleonic infantry, but there's some really cracking, crazy.
In way back when we used to play 40K, one of our guys, actually Tristan, he had an army called the Emperor's Last Pick. It was always like, he'd build an army and be like, yeah, here's spare 6 guys that I'll never use, or a spare rhino, and he just threw them together and just kept winning with them. He's like, yep, Emperor's Last Pick. There we go. And they couldn't lose.
It's a bit different if it's multi-part kits, though. That's useful.
Yeah.
But no, some of those German pioneers were bad. They looked okay once they were painted, but it took me a lot of effort to paint them because I just really didn't like how they looked. They were almost to a different scale from every other German figure that Battlefront have done.
Mm.
They were really thin and slight models. The danger of changing a sculptor, I suppose. I don't get it, because surely you would say, here is what our normal stuff, our normal range is, match it, rather than...
Who knows, though, man. Yeah. Any of you guys tried the new Flames of War plastics that have been out?
I've got some, but I've not built one yet.
I don't know why and maybe I'm a purist. I like metal for infantry. It's too light if it's plastic.
I liked the look of the plastic German grenadiers that I had, but I didn't like the detail on the back of them, because you always seem to lose a bit on the plastic models. It seems to almost like you get flat surfaces where you shouldn't have flat surfaces and things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd agree with you, generally metal infantry is the way I'd want to go. Plastic vehicles and metal infantry.
Yeah. Agreed.
But it is just whatever you can get, really, isn't it? I'm not going to make a big deal if plastic infantry is the only option. But I suppose there's the other side of the coin where people don't like plastic vehicles and buy plastic ones and then fill them with counterweights and stuff to...
Yep, I've done that.
Make them heavy.
Yeah, I've done that. The first set of plastic vehicles, especially by a plastic soldier company, the tracks were brutal.
Yeah.
So I've got 5 Panzer IVs of those. And then I bought I think I won it at some event somewhere. The Battlefront plastic Panzer IVs, and they're like 1,000 times better.
Mm.
And way back when we couldn't even order the scout cars from Battlefront, the metal ones, when Zvezda came out with the 222, I bought a couple and the plastic was horrible. I was just like, nope. So I just sold them.
Yeah, like I said, I built a load of the plastic Cromwells, and they're all right. We'll see what they're like when they're painted, but I was happy enough with the look of them. And again, because I've got a specific type of Sherman for my British armoured. They're all resin and plastic. Sorry, resin and metal. But the
Is that the one with the mottled stowage, or no?
Yeah, all of my stuff. That's
Yeah.
No, it was the Sherman ones. So they're pretty clean out of the blister, but
Yeah.
I always add stuff to them. But the other ones I did last year were the Polish Shermans, and they were all the old open fire plastics, and I had to do a lot of work to them because they were generally quite poorly put together. But the thing about plastic is if you put it together badly, you can generally do something about it. But if you get resin that's miscast, it's a goner a lot of the time. But you use a lot of different manufacturers, Gary, don't you?
What, for figures?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them around. So it's Airfix, Revel, Hat, Italeri, Esky, Call to Arms.
Don't have any Airfix here, I don't think. I've never seen it.
Well, they don't do the Napoleonic stuff anymore, apart from when they bring out the commemorative Battle of Waterloo battle set.
I mean, I've never seen Airfix anything.
Yeah?
No.
So you don't have much issue with different scales and stuff like that?
What, as in the figures are different sizes? So they range from 20 millimeters up to, almost 28, some of them. But if you put the same figures from the same manufacturer in the same unit, it's not a big issue if they're, a distance away from ones that are completely giants.
I've used plastic shims underneath the bases before I assemble them to bring up 25 millimeter Napoleonics. My Nassauers are 25 millimeter, and everything else I have is 28.
Yeah.
So I put plastic shims underneath them.
Yeah, you can do that.
So when the bases, like the MDF bases, are all the same height, so that when the models are standing next to one another, it's more reasonable.
Yeah. Well, I would have thought even 28 millimeter stuff, they're never all exactly the same size, are they?
No, Perry plastics are huge compared to...
And people aren't all the same size.
No.
I understand this one. They don't all the same. No, they're not.
Yeah, but that's fine. There's a little bit of variation, but what I'm talking about is, it's like, oh, look, these are guys who are on an NBA basketball team versus, horse jockeys.
I think you tend to notice it more in things like the size of the weapons.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, this guy's got a pistol that it's actually, my God, it's the size of a Tommy gun,
Yeah, I mean, there is issues there about if it's fair enough to say not all guys are the same size, but if they're, they're a Lee Enfield's the size of a Lee Enfield, so that's where it starts looking weird. If you've got two figures next to each other and one's got a tiny stick and the other one's got a massive lump, then
Team Yankees bad for that. The British plastic scimitars and everything and the Warriors are way too small.
Yeah.
They're teeny tiny.
Did you say Warriors there? Have you seen British plastic Warriors?
I think so, yeah. They're all in the same kit.
No, okay. I'll let you off then. Misidentification rather than letting something slip.
Oh, if it isn't Russian, I you know what I mean. I have no idea.
Scimitars and scorpions and
Aren't they based off the same hull?
scimitars and scorpions are. A warrior's a totally different beastie altogether. Warrior's like a Bradley.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
I thought we were getting insider knowledge there. Damn it.
The only insider knowledge I have is I've seen the Danish Team Yankee list.
Cool. Centurions. I can't think what else the Danes use. Probably Centurions and Leopards.
All it is, it's stuff that they've already got made, just different organizations. So it works. I already told a friend of mine, it's like, just buy a couple Sab Drakens in 144 scale. You'll be good to go for jets.
Really clever with the Air Force and stuff there. They had similar things as the Germans, didn't they, about stretches of motorway being set up to be able to be emergency airfields and stuff.
Oh, that's so wouldn't ever really happen in a war. It's just one of those things. Like, there's a YouTube video of a German F-104 landing on a stretch of highway, and he goes completely into the ditch at the end because it's uncontrollable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's an A10 that did it, but it's got wider wheels, so. And
I'm pretty sure I've seen stuff about that the Sabs taking off and landing from, because the motorway was built to be a runway as well.
Yeah, those were Vigans though, not Drakens. I don't think.
Okay, Vigans. Yeah,
the Vigans had the big cannons in the front, so they could take off very, very short. And they're way more stable at lower speeds. But I digress.
Go
ahead.
I thought Spitfires could land on just flat grass.
Spitfires can, yeah.
Yeah. Bombers obviously wouldn't have to land.
Well,
no bombers could land on grass, and Spitfires, it was rough going, but they could.
Yeah, Spitfire's undercarriage was too narrow, and they kind of suffered from taking off and landing on poorly maintained strips, whereas the Hurricane could take off and land from just about anywhere, I think.
I would have thought they wouldn't have had proper airstrips in the North Africa campaign for the Hurricanes there either.
Yeah.
Well, the hard pan works wonders.
Yeah.
That's why Edwards Air Force Base in California works. Oh, you run out of runway? Well, you've got an entire dry lake bed. So, the biggest runway in the world, which is in it's in Area 51, but it's over there. You could land 2 space shuttles landing from opposite ends. Those don't have any brakes, and when the 2 space shuttles would stop, there would still be probably 2 miles in between them. So it's ridiculous. You can't see one end of the runway from the other because of the curvature of the Earth. But I mean, it's a dry lake bed, so it's just land wherever you want.
I was just going to say about the size of the tropical filters and stuff they had to put on those aircraft engines in Africa, though. Can always tell a tropical Spitfire or a Hurricane because of the size of the air filter that's bolted onto it.
We need to
Right. Yeah, I said I'm reading a book just now about Vietnam, and it's one that I'm always happy to read books about, but I've got absolutely no idea of how you would ever play any sort of meaningful game in that setting.
I think just looking at what Mark Landumore is doing with his little campaign, something like that.
Yeah.
That's how you'd do it. You wouldn't have massive games with all sorts of tanks. I mean, you could, but I like at the end. But it's more meaningful if it's like, okay, these guys have to secure this LZ and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't make it a standard game. You got to do it like what he's doing. I have to go eat dinner.
And driven by cards and dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wanted to play the Vietnam Tour of Duty games, but yeah. We'll have to wait till the new edition, I guess, comes out.
Yeah, I was going to say that they're going to co-opt it into Team Yankee, aren't they? Make it part of the same game setting.
That would make sense, but because of that, they probably won't do it.
Well, they talked about it in one of the podcasts, I'm sure. Okay, well, go and eat, and we should be here when you're finished.
Alrighty. I don't know if I'll be back in time. Her Majesty might have me doing something.
No worries.
If I come back, I come back. If not, I'll probably just come back and say hi. Anyways.
Yeah, no worries. Catch you later.
Yeah, see you, Dennis. He's dining out with Her Majesty this evening.
I don't know.
Well, it is Her Majesty's possession calendar, after all, isn't it? So. How is this going to fit in here?
Said the vicar to the...
Yep, just fitting a shield onto a Viking's back, as you do.
That's what they all say, Gary.
Mm-hmm. Now, I wasn't around the weekend because I had to go to see the doctor. And
God, here we go.
He said to me, "How are you today, Mr. Wright?" And I said, well, strangely, I feel like an island archipelago off the coast of Cornwall. And he said, "Don't be silly."
No man is an island. Unless his name...
Where's my blue paint?
You got much still to do prep-wise then, Dave?
I'll have the track beds to dry brush to finish them tomorrow. It's just boxing stuff up for the weekend, really.
It's this weekend, yeah.
Yeah, it's this Sunday, so get that sorted. And then I'll need to write up some with an introduction and some orders of battle and stuff.
Yeah.
I get a particularly boring conference call on Friday. But no, not too much. Also, I've got to do some work in the man cave this week anyway, because I need to create some storage space for Monday, because there's a lot of furniture being delivered to the other rooms on Monday.
Right.
So to keep it in here, so I need to take my temporary table back down for now.
I was going to say, you just thought you were starting to make...
Yeah, it's only 2 days. It will only be 2 days because it gets delivered on Monday, and then the fitting team are coming to build it.
Right.
So then they'll be there. That should all be done on Wednesday. So I should see the man cave back to full possession. So I can look forward to it. I'll get a phone call from the for getting the portable games table, the movable games table all sorted. We're ready for an inaugural game. And I even got sanction for a man cave beer fridge.
Oh my god.
Mm. So I might have to look for a small beer fridge.
Something to keep your paints cool in the summer.
That's the one, yeah.
It definitely sounds like it's coming together.
Yeah.
April was the month I was going to start making progress with mine, and I've done absolutely nothing.
I'm really pleased how it's working now. So.
Oh, that's it. I think you were saying.
Sorry.
I think you were saying before about the intent was to get more games in as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. There's a lot more games this year.
And that's kind of one of the reasons that I'm doing the extra infantry, is on the basis that if we do the third part of this battle for Noyers, I might need more British infantry. So
You will.
the other really nice thing about this painting this infantry is they've got no bloody facial hair, unlike those damn 10mm.
Yes, I'm going to get back to mine. That'll be a job for next week. I think start getting the 10mm cracked off.
I did enjoy doing the cavalry more than I thought I would, to be fair, but it is just the sheer number of colours that I'm using on them to try and make them look all different and get that, try to maintain that ragtag Confederate look while still maintaining a bit of uniformity to them. It's not easy.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Right, so I just need to push that. Of course, we try to push that in there.
I think trying to make stuff look random can actually be a lot more work than just doing things randomly.
And you only end up doing it pseudo random.
Yeah.
You've done every third one the same.
Yeah.
Yes, the other thing I need to do is finish my shopping list for somebody.
Yeah, and the things we're doing them random, you've got to mix them up on the stands as well.
Yeah.
You don't want two blokes with black hats next to each other, do you?
Yeah, but even that, like Dave said, it's pseudo random, because then you end up with every base has one guy. Each base has 5 guys with 5 different colour hats on them, which isn't.
Yeah,
which is wrong as well. Yeah, really frustrating.
Just something to try not to waste too much time worrying about. You do what you can, and
That's it, exactly. It's not worth it.
sometimes just realising that if someone's actively looking at them to find an issue with them, they'll find an issue with them regardless of what you do. So.
Yeah, true.
You don't need that type of negativity in your hobby anyway.
No. You don't. Ambushed. Ambushed. Don't need to drag.
But with them, it was the point I went back and started doing the yellow cuffs and collars and stuff
Mm-hmm.
for the cavalry. Start thinking, okay, stop now.
Stop now. That's it. It'll be interesting to see us get a game of it eventually. We're not far
Yeah.
off.
Well, how many of you are painting them? It's about 6 of you, isn't it? Or more?
Yeah, it's got 6 altogether. So you go, oh, you need a couple of hundred stands, but actually between 6 of us, it's 30 each. It's not that much, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, I've just got, if I do the casualty figures and stuff, that'll allow me to start basing up my infantry. I need to do my dismounted cavalry figures first, because I suspect I'm going to have spares.
Yeah.
Of them that can make their way onto infantry stands as well.
Hiding down there.
Tufts. Tufty things. Alright. What are they? They are silver tufts. That's the design.
It's one of the things I need. Tufts.
God, tell me about it. I've got some bucket loads of them. Actually, I've got the kit to make them, and I'm just actually short of the actual flock itself, so I need to pick up some of that.
Well, with me having this infantry to do, and well, there's 2 platoons worth of infantry here. It's just it starts making inroads into whatever you've got when you're doing multiple bases.
Certainly does. I had a whole box of tufts the other night when I was basing stuff up. Eat it straight out, no problem at all.
Really good idea, whoever's idea it was, but
Yeah.
I've probably used a couple of packs of miniatures of tufts worth on my bases. You know, thinking about money wise, what I could have bought if I hadn't been putting tufts on.
Yeah. Which is why I say I've got myself a flocking machine and the tachyfire glue and stuff. I just need one of the projects I think in the summer.
Hi there, Dave.
Hi, kiddies.
How you doing?
And then
Evening. What an intro.
Yeah, it's a bit cool this morning.
Yeah?
all right, here we go.
I know it's nothing like what you guys have got,
Oh, it's starting to warm up here.
but it's all relevant, right?
Mhm.
Relative.
Yep.
It's all relative. Weather's one of those relative things.
Definitely. What you on tonight? Still your naps? Yeah, it will be.
Yeah, I've got it's the 3rd week of the month, so the rest of the month is now Napoleonics.
Mhm.
So I've got another unit of French here to base up. Hey, where's my video gone?
Cavalry?
No, it's all infantry at the moment. I'm still building 4 divisions of infantry for the first corps.
All right.
So these are second-hand figures that I picked up off a Facebook page that I've rebased.
All right.
So they're the base, and then what I also had to do was paint my own commanders because they didn't have any. So these guys are the ones I painted myself.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So fill those in, and then I did a British para in Helmand yesterday.
Mm.
This is
Cool.
my first attempt at desert DPM, but it's too dark. I put a black wash on it right at the end to try and get some shadowing, but it kind of blackened out some of the uniform patterns. So I need to do another one today without black wash.
Where's my green?
I think I encountered the same thing when I was trying to paint the Zeltpan and stuff on the Germans. And I think I just ended up highlighting the camo back up.
It's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah. In fact, I'm pretty sure that after that happened, what I did was just paint the uniform the base colour, and then when it came to, I did the wash and everything, and then when it came to do the highlighting, I then added the camo pattern because there was no point doing it before.
Yeah.
Well, I thought about going back over it again, but maybe I will in the end. Maybe I will.
Well, it just depends what the rest of the unit ends up, how dark it ends up looking, I suppose.
Well, I always start off my figures with 2 coats of that same black wash because I use that as my primer, and it works really well to bring out the detail for painting.
Yeah.
Rather than a black.
Yeah.
I'm starting to cut out.
Excuse me, guys, I'll be back shortly.
Yep. That's what I can do. So do you just do French Napoleonics, David, or do you do?
No, I do them all, but I only just recently changed over from 6mm last year. So I'm sort of starting all again. So we'll be doing all the 1815 armies. I won't do every formation. I'll probably do main formations and have them sort of substitute each other on the battlefield, on the tabletop.
Yeah.
So I'll do the main formations, but so once I've done 1815, then I'll be moving to 1809. Oh, sorry, 1812. And then after I've done 1812, I'll be moving to 1809. So there's a fair bit there. It's a lifetime project.
Yeah.
That's why it's my tier 1 project. So everything else is tier 2. So tier 2 is my moderns.
Right.
And in the moderns, I'm doing Helmand in Afghanistan and Fallujah in Iraq. And then my tier 3 is Crusades and probably a little bit of sci-fi now.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, well, my main one is Napoleonics as well, and then English Civil War, and then
Oh yeah.
Anglo-Saxons, Vikings, Normans.
Oh yeah. All 28s or
No, these are all 172 scale.
that's a 20 mil, yeah. Cool. So there's the black wash.
Oh, yeah.
Really brings out all the detail for painting. Someone already undercoated this grey. That's why it looks like this, and did a little bit of flesh. That's why it looks like this. But normally it would just be silver with the black wash. So that now has to dry. So it's probably going to be tomorrow morning's paint job.
That's what I forgot to do. Where is it?
Oh, weekend I bought some of this pumice gel, which is a gel from an art shop, and it's got a really coarse, gritty texture to it. There was a fine one, and then there was this one as well, and this one was a bit more gritty. So I got this one because I'm 15 mil now. If I was 6 mil, I would have got the fine one. And I've mixed it up with some of my basing paint, just as a tester, so I can apply that straight onto the figure base. So that's what it sort of looks like when it's all got the paint through it. So then we get some of that little sucker. Fill in any gaps, make the face nice and smooth. What are you guys working on?
So I've been doing some preparation for a game at the weekend. So I'm doing some railway track stuff for the military railway in the Sudan. I've got some markers on the go.
Oh, yeah.
Bits of stalls and things. So, yeah, so coming along. So I've got I'll have 6.5 foot of track done for it, which is good enough, I think, for now. So that's me about prepped in terms of, well, all the figures I need to create.
How big's that game going to be?
It's on a 12 foot by 6 foot table.
And what sort of scale? 20 mil or?
28s.
28, wow.
Yeah.
That should be impressive.
Probably have a few hundred, probably have a couple of hundred, 200 or 300 Brits out, and I don't know, close to 600 or 700 Mardists. So.
Yeah.
Just need to. My job for tomorrow night is to get the transport boxes sorted and get them put into them, ready for travelling at the weekend.
Yep. So the other advantage of applying this pumice mixed with paint straight up is that because it's still wet, I can put it straight into the flock.
Yeah.
And it collects the flock.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like a sort of a one-step process instead of
instead
of 2 or 3 steps.
Doing the job. Now it's time to leave. It's Mr. Landymore.
Evening.
Well, evening.
Evening.
How are we?
Okay.
Good.
We're recording this live, by the way, Mark. So
don't swear.
No, you can swear as much as you like.
Can I?
Yeah.
So
He usually does.
He usually
use your
does.
fake name.
Them across there. Yeah.
So what are you up to, Mark?
I'm doing I'm fiddling around with my Norwegian torpedo boat.
All right. Now, the doctor told you about that.
Yep.
That you shouldn't really call it Norwegian torpedo boat. Just tell us what it really is.
And you shouldn't be fiddling with it.
Yeah.
Well,
And they're quite expensive, these old pairs, as well.
yeah. I've had enough women in my time, mate. I've had more visits to the doctor than you can possibly imagine.
Obviously, the
Awful
wrong one.
experience with a Turkish doctor when I went down the clinic once. But I won't go into it.
Mm.
What's everyone painting then?
Roll
Myself, I'm doing Saxons, Austrian line infantry, Napoleon Austrian line infantry, and some French camp followers.
Oh, I say.
Oh yes.
Carry on.
So I got these guys where the bloke sat with a young filly next to him, and he's got a bottle of wine and that sort of thing. Because I wanted some figures to go with my pub.
So typically
Ale
Austrian
house.
then.
It might be a bit bright, all the light I've got here. But yeah, he's not white. He's ivory. Really?
Racism.
Yeah, I've got 6 boxes of Austrian figures the other day for about 15 quid, I think.
Not bad.
So that's 2 boxes of cavalry and 4 boxes of infantry. So you can't argue with that, really.
No.
That's Perry, is it?
No, these are hat 172 scale.
Yep, yep.
So there's something like 45 infantry in each of the 4 boxes, plus 12 cavalry in the 2 cavalry boxes. So that's not bad
Yeah.
at all.
Not a bad haul.
Not a bad haul. No, there's 48 infantry in each box. So, bargain, I'd say. I've more or less got an Austrian division from that.
Is it?
Or more. All I need now is some cavalry to go with them. Not cavalry, some artillery.
Keep you busy, mate. At your age.
And some commanders as well. You can get Austrian 172 commanders, can't you?
Are there any lead manufacturers that you can supplement with?
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few around. If I can't find them, ideally I'll go for plastic ones first.
Yeah, yeah.
Because for a start, they're a lot cheaper. They're nicely detailed, and the same proportions. And I find with the metal figures, they've all got really thick, chunky legs, or really thick, chunky arms, and the hats are huge. So it just looks a bit untoward. So they've got to match the proportions.
Well, that's fine for that's fine for Austria, right? Because you could say that commander is a descendant of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
There's your boots, your musket, and your shackle joke there, isn't it?
Let's have a look. Napoleonic. Austria Command. There's an Italeri, Austrian and Russian Allied General Staff, which is going to be pretty nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll have to get that.
Then you sell off the Russians.
Second.
Well, I've got some Russian figures as well, but I haven't painted any Russians at all yet because I've been busy concentrating on Allied troops, French. I've just done some Nassau troops, Brunswickers. I've done some Dutch, some Belgians. Well, for sort of 1815, really.
Right. The whole 1815, the whole campaign.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh, and Prussians as well. I've done quite a lot of Prussians.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought I'd do some Austrians, because I hadn't done them yet. And once I've got, it makes a change, and then I'm busy collecting Russian stuff. I've got some Russian artillery, I've got some Russian cavalry, I've got a few Russian infantry, but not a lot of Russian infantry so far.
It's kind of imagination stuff that you do as well, Gary, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't have to be, a strictly accurate battle on 1-to-1 scale. But yeah, I mean, I generally, scout around eBay once in a while, to see if anybody's, selling anything off cheaply. And if I win the bid, I win the bid. If I don't, I'll just say, okay, fine. I'll just see if something else comes up. I mean, there's a lot of people who sort of go through their lofts and find all their airfix and 172 scale figures and just bung them in one lot and say, okay, bid on that. So you can end up, for 100, 200 figures of all mixed up, for a few quid.
I do the same thing with my ABs. I go on. I collect a lot of ABs for my 15mm Napoleonics, so I just go on eBay once a week and just see if anyone's offloading anything.
Yeah. No, it's well worth doing, isn't it? Because you really can get a bargain.
Yeah. Well, these ones that I'm basing now, I picked up for less than $2 a figure.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, just over £1 for you.
Yeah, which is pretty good for metal.
They're already painted.
That's a really good deal for painted miniatures, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. There's about 200 figures for $400, so no problemo.
Yeah, I get all my. I do the same thing now, but I go in. I'm looking in railway modelling, and they get rid of so many buildings. I mean, I picked 3 out for £1.50.
Wow.
2 hours later, they rip the roofs off, re-glue them, put a base in the middle, bit of washing and dry brushing. Voila.
Nice.
That's the best thing. I mean, all the pre-painted stuff and the stuff that I go for is so expensive for what it is. Not that great either. But a lot of the railway stuff, I mean, they're the leaders in that sort of stuff. But if you buy them brand new, you're looking at 30 or 40 quid,
Yeah.
So that's where I go. That's my tip of the week.
I used to get quite a bit of stuff off eBay, but I've only had little bits and pieces recently because it seems to everything has gone up in price.
It has, hasn't it? I've noticed that. There's a lot more traders on there now as well.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of that frustrates me.
Well, it doesn't frustrate me in the situations where if I'm looking for something specific, and I know that the price that is there is the price that you're paying, and there may well be postage involved as well. But, rather than waiting for a bid for something you really want and being outbid at 8 or 9 quid and I can just get the actual set for 6 from a retailer, I'll go for the retailer,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care as long as it's the right price. What I found frustrating, though, is there's a lot of overseas, obviously, merchants, retailers, and they'll have like $7 or £7 for a certain item, but it'll be $23 postage.
Uh-huh.
The postage is
Yeah.
what's killing me at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Anything into or out of the US is just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Hey, guys, you want a quick look at some of this advanced stuff for the weekend?
Yeah.
Some of the toys are out.
Uh-huh.
There you have it. We've got the train all set up, complete with the camp. Indian Army Battalion, the Egyptian Battalion at the end. And we've got the balloon.
All right. Yes, the balloon is fantastic.
So the observation balloon's up. Various bits for the engineers, the track laying gang, the British redcoats. So that's just some of the toys that will be out at the weekend. So.
Very nice.
And you bought the tent, Steve? Yeah. Who does those?
Grand Manor resins.
Oh, they're very nice.
Yeah, all the various stores and gubbins are in these stuff. So, yeah. So it should look quite impressive when it's all out, because this is only
Yeah,
a
it's very
fraction
impressive.
of getting, so there may be quite a few artists involved.
The balloon will spot them, it'll be fine.
Well, indeed, absolutely. Well, it'd be a talking point anyway, won't it?
Yeah.
Trains and planes.
No, the balloon's great. I mean, it's all good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's the sort of thing that people will remember, when they go to a show and they'll remember the balloon.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah, different. So. Right. Log on back on the other computer. Back in a minute.
The other thing I've spotted a little bit on trading sites and eBay in particular is people going to bringing buys and buying stuff and then eBaying it.
Oh, yeah.
That annoys me slightly.
Oh. I'm always amazed at how much money laundering there is on eBay, and no one really bats an eyelid at it. Like buying, I saw some 15 mil unpainted Crusader figures the other day. It was 5 figures for $35.
Hmm.
You can't tell me that that's a normal price purchase.
Yeah.
Where in the world would you pay $5 for a 15 mil unpainted figure?
Yeah, it's just whether it sells or not is the thing, because I've seen
though.
stuff.
They
Right.
do, though. There was an article on it in the news here just recently. They're really low key products, like ballpoint pens or something like that, and they're just ridiculously expensive. It's a way of clearing your money or paying. They were saying on the news that it was the way they were doing their payments for crime. This guy was importing illegal guns.
Yeah, I know when I sold off my Games Workshop collection on eBay a good few years ago now, must be 10 years ago, my PayPal account got suspended while it was being investigated for money laundering. But I think that was just sheer the pure amount of sales I had made, because it was all Battlefleet Gothic and Epic stuff I was selling, and I was making a fortune.
Mm-hmm.
You don't realise how much money you've got sitting on the shelf, do you?
No.
It's all right. Mine got suspended because I ordered a set of walls for cartoon. What are you sending? What are you sending to the Sudan? Please ask questions. Answer questions. Prove you're not a terrorist. Yes.
I'm genuinely surprised that, given the number of ISIS videos with the title Flames of War on them, that the Flames of War stuff hasn't. I know that people have had issues on YouTube with putting Flames of War videos up because of that.
I never watched the ISIS Flames of War videos myself on YouTube, actually, so I would not know.
No, neither have I. I've just heard people complaining about their videos being taken down because they share a title with something that some terrorist scumbag's putting up somewhere.
So they don't take the ISIS video down, but they take the Flames of War video.
Yeah.
Dickheads. Honestly.
And I'm back.
Hello.
The main social media sites and our main Western social media sites and the search engines are one of ISIS's best tools.
Yeah. It's just a different type of warfare, isn't it? Information
but
warfare.
no one seems clued in on it.
I'm sure they are.
Enjoy your dinner, Dennis.
No, I just made it. Now it's in the oven.
Ah, okay.
That's the waiting phase.
Oh. It's a bit like varnishing or something, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Just hope it comes out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. So, Mark, what are you working on?
A Norwegian boat, torpedo boat. We've got a torpedo run with a couple of PT boats or sloops and stuff to do.
Nice.
And
your other ones look great on your show there, or your series.
No, they're coming along all right. I'm trying to convert. I'm doing an e-boat, but I've had to buy 172, and I'm trying to cut everything down to drop her in size because I can't find 1/100 in her. So I've got to do that. That'll be really good for the Channel Islands and all sorts of things. You know, Eagle has landed, all that sort of stuff. So.
Oh yeah, you could use it for so much.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing is that, again, we've been talking about eBay and the pros and cons of it. But I think my friend picked those two up. They normally retail at probably about $60 US. But, I mean, he picked it up for about $10, that and the Vosper. And the Vosper I've tried to chop up and turn into a Norwegian patrol boat because I can't find anything on them. But anyway, it's the best I can do. So sorry, it's not quite right.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll look fine, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What about yourself? What are you doing?
Basically finishing off odd little projects here and there. So I'm just trying to wrap a couple things up.
Yeah. Thanks for those pics, by the way, because I stuck them in the video, the last one I did.
Yeah, I saw them. They're just at the end there. Yeah.
Yeah, they look good.
And you know what? It now that I've got it all set up and I know how to do them, they're really easy. Really easy. I once I got it figured out to how to do the map single player.
Yeah.
It was a multiplayer online map single player that I created, locked out with so nobody could join, and then just did it.
Yeah.
So I can do. I've got some British stuff as well. So I've got like Blenheims, Wellingtons, viewfighters, all the way down to like fairy swordfishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot we want to do with that, especially Battle of Britain. We want to do the Dam Buster raid, the raids on.
Well, if you do Battle of Britain, I'll do it on the other game because that one it's realistic to scale. The channel, so I could take off from England, fly to France.
Yeah.
And vice versa as the Germans.
Well, it'd be quite nice because I can do all the narration in between the flight and then the game, the battle, and all that. But I think it's a great idea, and you know, it's good. So thank you for that.
Anytime.
How was your Baden? How was your battle the other night? I saw half of it. I didn't manage to get to the end because I got disturbed.
Oh, for Saga? Yeah, good. Yeah, it was good.
I like Saga.
Yeah, yeah, it was really fun and pretty crunchy when you got to work out what battle board abilities you're going to have to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just finished a book about a Battle of Britain pilot.
Yeah.
It's quite good. Hurricane pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Gun button to fire, I think it's called.
Yeah. I like the Hurricane. I think it's a good aircraft.
Yeah. Interesting to hear the pilot's views of it. Yeah, well, they viewed it as a good aircraft. They were just aware that it was getting to the point of obsolescence by by that time. At low altitudes, they could deal with the Messerschmitts, but once they got up high, they were pretty useless.
Well, that's just from the technology difference. That's all.
Yeah. But no, it was really interesting. And he flew in the same squadron as the guy who won the only Victoria Cross during the Battle of Britain as well.
Oh yeah.
What was the VC for?
He was engaged with some Messerschmitt 110s, and his aircraft was hit and set on fire, and he was about to bail out, and he saw a German aircraft in front of him, so he sat back down in his burning plane and shot the German aircraft down before bailing out of his burning plane.
Well, that's a job well done.
Yeah, got badly wounded and badly burnt and stuff in the process, but survived. But yeah, basically, I hadn't heard before, but the pilot seemed to complain that the way the fuel tanks were set up in the Hurricane, that it burnt, it caught fire really easily.
There's a lot of planes were like that.
Yeah,
and didn't have self-sealing tanks, did it?
No, and the two of the tanks were like in the wing roots at either side of the cockpit, basically. So he talks about getting shouted at when he was still quite junior because it was a hot day and he had rolled his sleeves up and stuff, and he was basically told the more skin you expose, the more the flames will get, basically. So
yep,
they would fly all buttoned up and their gloves and everything on to try and prevent it.
There's a YouTube video of it happened a couple of years ago at an air show or at a display. Washington DC, so TBM Avenger with some passengers in it, paying passengers. Was doing a fly past the Washington Memorial, and they'd closed off the one runway that was right near there for John F. Kennedy, and the TBM, they thought it caught fire because the guy, not the guy in the turret of the Avenger, but the guy in the radio seat, felt all this heat on his legs and thought it was an engine of an electrical fire underneath it. Turns out it was the hydraulics, but still. So the YouTube videos of like from the cockpit view, and it's like all they did is they just turned right, and boom, right there was the runway. They land, he declares an emergency, gets everybody out. I mean, it wasn't really on fire, but they thought it was. So yeah, it was like, job well done. But just the fact that, he was like, nope, this is what we got to do right here.
Yeah.
Must have been a very lonely war, those fighter pilots, and frightening one. No,
Well, especially over the Pacific, like, at least Battle of Britain, you're right there.
Yeah.
A lot of them didn't last for very long either. That's the I think he was actually fairly lucky the way that it worked out for him. He finished his flight training just literally when Dunkirk was happening.
So he wasn't as rushed as later.
Yeah, so he went into the squadron a couple of, or a bit before, basically, and
Hang on one moment.
had time to get some hours under his wing, so to speak. So I've gone from reading that to reading a book about Vietnam.
I've recently, I don't know why, but started to. I watched a program on Lyndon Johnson and then JFK and all that. Very interesting. I mean, I've known, obviously about his assassination and all of that, but yeah, I don't know why I started watching that. I got fascinated with the Pentagon Wars and all that was going on. It's quite frightening stuff, really.
Well, all this talk of eBay and Italiari Austrian and Russian general staff, I've just bought a pack of them for $9.45.
How many is in a pack?
There are 3 Austrian generals, 3 Russian generals. 4 of them are mounted. And there's things like drummers, ensigns, sergeants. 5 of them are mounted.
That's pretty good.
So, and then there's a load of Austrian grenadiers and some Austrian guys with funny hats as well, which I've already got some of, but that will add to my infantry stuff. So yeah, and it's free postage.
Can't go wrong with Austrian guys with funny hats.
Nope.
No, you can't.
But it just goes to show that it's as much a well, what was the enabling chat as a painting chat?
Yeah. Well, I did need to buy them, and for $9.45, you can't really grumble, can you? You know.
No. If it's a good deal, it's a good deal.
Yeah.
Was it just £23 postage?
No, it's free postage. There was others that were
Are you
slightly cheaper.
There was a figure missing in it again?
Yeah. No, there was some that were slightly cheaper, but then you had to pay £3 or £4 postage. So what's the point of that? You know.
Great. I'm out of here, chaps. It's the witching hour for me. So.
All right, take care, Dave.
Catch you next time.
Catch you later.
See you, Dave.
And things I'm realising about these figures that I painted ages ago is how bad the frosting is on some of them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
They look great from here. I don't know.
Yeah, well, these are more or less. There's only the odd one on the sticks that were painted a while ago, but for some reason, some of them have been really badly frosted with the varnish. So I'm having to basically I had hoped I would just have to highlight them, but I'm having to basically repaint them.
Well, as long as only one guy per stick, should be all right.
Yeah. Some of them are worse than others. I hate that. If somebody could come up with some sort of definite solution so that that never happened again, it would be a massive bonus for the hobby.
Yeah.
Frosting and miniatures. Especially when you spent hours painting them.
Yeah.
So do you think you're starting a new wargaming style trend there then, Mark, with your 15mm naval stuff?
I have no idea. I don't really care.
Are we going to start
enjoying
seeing
this.
people doing the Coral Sea battle
That'd be cool.
at
It
15mm?
would be fantastic, wouldn't it? No, I think I've
You
certainly
have to
got-
rent out a gymnasium with the blue,
Yeah.
all the blue gym mats.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I certainly think I'm very different. You know, I've coined the phrase narrative wargaming, but I don't think that's original. But you know, I do like to do things that are different, and yeah, if that does encourage people, there's so much more to World War II than you know, just the main games. And if people find that interesting, then you know, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
That for me, that's what it's about. I mean, you know, I could, if I wanted to go, I could put some of the late war stuff I've got on, which is just incredible. But you know, I want to finish Norway, and I want to do the Low Countries, and I want to do it in sequential, because if I start dotting around and going all over the place,
Yeah.
it's sort of going to wreck what I'm really trying to do over the longer term, and that's make a sort of historical sort of sub-series. So I don't know, but that's just my view, you know, and I'm enjoying doing that. So I'm going to continue doing it in that way. And it would be lovely if people start doing boat games and things. But, you know, you have to hunt around for whatever you're interested in, don't you? Whatever,
Yeah.
you know, if you're doing, as Gary's saying, 172, that's part of the joy of the hobby, is finding the bits that, or building them yourself, you know, if you can't find them. I don't know. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I hope people start playing a bit more air combat war games, because, I mean, to me, you know, if I was Flames of War, I would have gone right. X-Wing's really popular. Shit.
They should have bought. They should have bought. Check Your Six.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember that ISIS video either.
No, but they went off and bought Dust, didn't they, or something else, which is so far away from what they do.
Daesh, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. That didn't work out for them.
You know, it's to me just a bit silly, but I mean, what the hell do I know? They're going to do what they want to do, and that's the end of it. But that's what I would have looked at, ships. And I mean, the Vietnam riverboat stuff was quite popular, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it just died right on the vine. They didn't
Yeah.
do anything with it.
No, but I mean, you've got the whole North Sea, you've got the Pacific full of boats and stuff.
Yeah,
No one
all the
makes-
island land, all the landing, even for Japan.
Yeah, but we're going to do that. I mean, I know my friend will send me loads and loads of Japanese landing carriers and stuff, because he'll want to showcase it. And then we've got the tankers now, we've got the merchantmen. You know, we're going to have a good go at it. I think we'll do the Coral Sea and all of that. We'll have to go down the scale. I think the consensus within the club is 11250, because you can get those pre-painted, and they're very cheap. I don't know how we'll do battleship rules, but I'm sure we'll work something out, or use Victory at Sea or something simple, you know, that you can do. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot to wargame. It you know, with the boats, it opens up loads of stuff, doesn't it? I mean, yeah, I can do all the little commando raids. I can do the supply runs. I can do Overwatch against aircraft, spying missions. There's so much you can do with it, and that's why I think, because I was just getting so bored of tanks and tanks and tanks. I just thought, shit. Well, they're flying tanks in the air, aren't they?
Yep.
And you get to learn a lot. it's like you were saying, Matt, about the aircraft. I don't know all these specs. I don't know whether the Hurricane was a better aircraft. Someone said to me that Fokker Wolf I recently did, the 190, when they first came out, apparently they came out just at the end of France, but they were considered a better aircraft than the Spitfire, but couldn't turn as fast. Again, that's one opinion. I don't know whether that's correct or not, and that's where I get into
Probably isn't too far off.
They were a big shock to the Allies when they turned up the 190s.
Were they?
Yeah.
Are they fast? Or they
yeah, just basically outperformed the Spitfire. They had to do a crash upgrade program to get bigger engines in the Spitfires to be able to compete.
Oh. I mean, it's fascinating, isn't it? I haven't got a clue about all this sort of stuff.
The Air War's much more tit for tat than the. I think the only thing that maybe comes close is the kind of anti-tank tech war that was going on in the Western Desert. But the Air War's much more tit for tat, I think.
On that note, I'm going to go eat. I will see you guys later.
Yeah,
Catch you
later.
Cheers, mate. No, but it's like logistics. I find that very interesting, especially in the Western Desert, and all of that. Such an important part.
You've got me surfing through eBay as well now. I'd like to have a look, see what there is. Someone's got a diamond, or did have, I'll need to see if it's still there, a resin diamond T truck with trailer, which would be quite cool from a brick collection. I've absolutely no idea what possible use I could have for it, but
Yeah, the resin guy, I've seen some of his stuff.
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. Right, I think at that kind of natural lull in the conversation, I'll end the live broadcast. We'll keep chatting for a bit, I think, but we'll call it quits to the live one just now. So thanks to everyone who came on, and I hope those people who do sit and watch it do enjoy it. Said Miniature Modelling Mayhem's the community name, and you can find us on Facebook and Google+. Good night.
And it's good night from me, and it's good night from him.
Good night.